Welcome in, race fans, to tonight's event under the lights in Phoenix, Arizona. Drivers are just now wrapping up the third practice session of the season as we get ready to find out if we're going to get 3 different winners in the first 3 races, or maybe somebody will repeat tonight. So far, we've had 27 drivers make a lap in practice. We'll see if we got any late arrivers to tonight's session before qualifying kicks underway in a little under 4 minutes at this point. As it sits in practice, Cody Gibson top of the boards. Joshua Kanata, who is undefeated with pole positions this season, 2 for 2 in the first 2 weeks, trying to go 3 in a row. Sabo Garcia is third on the board. Mark Arthur and Jamie Walker round out the top 5. But it is, of course, only practice. A lot more to go, a lot more to see this evening, and the biggest test for these drivers so far on the season, at least in my opinion, as somebody who's done a lot of racing myself. Phoenix is a very technical track, but it is one of my favorites as well. It's a good track, and there's always a lot of good things to be had, a lot of good racing, a lot of good action around a track like this. We can follow around with Larry Bell in the 43 of the 5 King squad, making some laps right now late in practice, maybe getting some mock qualifying runs ready to go. Got some pressure from the 5 car. That's going to be a driver who we've seen actually contending quite a bit up to this point in the season, Joseph Klein, driver number 5. Speaking of drivers who are contending in the season, before we jump into qualifying, we got a little bit of time and kind of go over where we're sitting. Only 2 races in, plenty of races still to go in a 24 race season, but 2 drivers have won a race so far this season. The 39 of Zachary Wake, he is here this evening on track, currently in the pits, but we might catch him on track at some point tonight. Matt Semple won last week in the 8 Card Auto Club. Matt Semple's unfortunately not able to be here this evening. We've only got one of our previous winners. Top of the points without a win, it's Nick Crawford in the 74, another driver who's been consistently quick week in and week out over the first 2 events, as has Nolan Milnes in the 1 car. I believe those are the 2 drivers who have finished in the top 5 both times this season. Nolan Milnes, as a matter of fact, is the driver with the least incidents on track. Cleanest driver award so far this season goes to driver number 1, and sitting in 4th place in the points while doing it. That works out pretty well. Well, actually, I don't know if it's only 4th place if it's winning in, but I don't know for sure. I'll have to get a confirmation from the admins if they're running win to lock yourself into the playoffs or not, but that is neither here nor there. We are looking to get qualifying underway. There's about 1 minute and 5 seconds left of practice here. Some last second qualifying, mock qualifying runs being thrown out on track. We'll stay on with Nolan Milnes, driver of the 1 Chevy Camaro, making his way through turns 1 and 2 right here. There's a poll up in the chat. Let us know which make you think is going to win this race tonight. Will it be a Chevy? Will it be a Toyota? Will it be a Ford? And furthermore, feel free to let me know who you're cheering on in that there chat box as we get ready to get the action started tonight under the lights in the desert. Race 3 out of 24. And we're getting into a swing of the schedule that gets pretty technical. You've got Phoenix tonight. We've got Dover next week. We got Dover next week, and then we've got Sonoma on the 13th of December. And apologies, that's not next week. That's in 2 weeks. We do have a week off for the Thanksgiving holiday week. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be back to Dover, and then Sonoma, 2 technical tracks as well. And then we go to Charlotte. Charlotte, more of a traditional 1.5 miles. That'll be a fun one. A lot of action there, I am sure. Tonight, it's just me in the broadcast booth. My usual co-host, Tom Richter, not joining me alongside for tonight's event. So it is just you and I for some fun action tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I do love this track quite a bit. Practice is over. Overhead view of Phoenix Raceway, one of the more unique tracks on the schedule. We'll see who lights up first, who's going to jump out on track and start laying down some lap times. All right, looks like we might have some takers. The 48 car, that's Caleb West in that white and mint green 48 Chevy Camaro, making his way on to try and get those tires a little warmed up and ready to go. Will Mr. West, we'll see what Caleb can do here. Lap 1 is usually going to be a little bit of a banker lap. You're going to use it to kind of warm the tires up a little bit. Lap 2 is kind of the money lap, so that's really what you'll be looking for in terms of competitive laps here. But all the way down across the dogleg, you're going to see that out of pretty much every single driver for qualifying, and you'll also see it a lot in the race as well. The only track on the schedule with a shortcut, officially, and a shortcut that is allowed at that, as Caleb West is going to dive it into turn number 3. Oh, gets loose. The rear end steps out big time. He's going to stay loose all the way out of the corner and crosses the line. That is going to kill both laps. The fact that he crossed the line, Chris Pugliese with issues. The fact that the 48 car crossed the line right there meant that both laps are going to be hindered. We've got Tanner Marr right here in the 4 Toyota Supra, going to make his way down into turn number 1 right here. He's getting loose in the rear end, driving in pretty deep right there. This is going to be Tanner's first competitive lap of the session as we watch him go around. Let's go ahead, now that lap times are coming in, let's put the board up. Jamie Walker, top of the board at the moment. Larry Bell in second place. Tanner Marr off of the corner, just keeps it out of the wall. And lap number 1 for Tanner is going to shoot him P5. We'll see what he can do second go around. Cody Gibson jumps up to the top, narrowly ahead of Walker. That's a 26.976 for Mr. Gibson, and the Flamin' Hot Cheetos number 7. Tanner Marr brings us down the back straightaway, formerly the front straightaway here, and down into turn 3, gets that car angled down real nice. Can't quite hit the apex, but got that car rotated pretty good and across the line for Tanner Marr in the 4. It's going to stay P5 for that attempt, and with that, we've got the 14 Ford Mustang. That's Joey Gattina. Now looking for a good run. Down the backstretch we go, and into turn number 3. Joey sits P8 on the board at the moment. We'll see if we can improve. Fantastic run through turns 3 and 4. Clean exit across the line. Joey's going to put that 14 car up into P7. Mark Arthur is going to go top of the board in that Barbie number 12 Toyota Supra on lap number 1. We'll see if there's any more improvement on lap number 2, but he's going to top Cody Gibson's time by 1/1000th of a second. We'll see if he can get a little more breathing room right here on lap number 2. Couple more names still making some laps further on through the field. Across the line we go for Mark Arthur. It is no improvement on lap number 2. And on track, it's the number 5 Chevy Camaro of Joseph Klein. Looking to get a good run right here. Joseph's had a really good season up to this point. Showed a lot of speed. Maybe hasn't had the results he wanted to, but has been a driver to watch out for through the first 2 events, so looking to stamp his name furthermore. Currently P14, we'll see what he can do on lap number 2, cross the line, and that is going to be P10. Slots into the top 10 right there. Great stuff from Joseph. And now we jump over to the driver that I'm sure every driver is watching right now, the 16, that's Joshua Kanata. 2 for 2 on pole positions this season. He started first in Daytona. He started first in Auto Club. We'll see what the 16 car can do tonight in Phoenix. He's got a monumental task ahead of him. Some great laps have been laid out there and some real tight margins. 3 drivers within 7/1000ths of a second up front. Gets down into turn 3. That rear end was stepping out just a little bit, but he's able to keep it glued, and across the line goes Joshua Kanata. P5 on lap number 1. He's actually going to pull it down off of the track, not going to take that second lap, and that will do it. The streak comes to an end at 2 for driver 16. Less than 30 seconds remaining in the session. No more cars out on track. And as it sits, it's the 12 car of Mark Arthur who looks to be on pole for tonight's event provisionally, alongside Cody Gibson on the outside. A couple of drivers who did not get out on track at all, but are going to run out of time, elect not to take a lap. And with that, qualifying has officially come to an end. With that, we'll wait for the session to swap over right here, and we'll go through our starting grid for tonight's event. Get my music going here. for effect. All right, starting on the pole, it's going to be the 12 car of Mark Arthur, scoring the pole in race number 3 alongside Cody Gibson in 2nd place. Jamie Walker and Kyle Wellman, they're going to be on row number 2 for the start. Joshua Kanata, Nolan Milnes, row number 3. In 7th place, it's going to be Samuel Garcia and Joey Gattina. In 8th, rounding out the top 10, it's Tanner Marr and Larry Bell, pair of 5 Kings teammates, ahead of Joseph Klein in 11th, Rob Higgs Jr. in 12th, Gabriel Goli starts 13th, Alex Fuller in 14th, Zachary Wake is going to start in 15th, our Daytona winner, ahead of Matthew Pavlik in 16th, Stoney Benfield in 17th, and William Bryn is going to be starting us off in 18th. 19th is Dakota Moniz, ahead of Chris Lawrence in 20th, Zachary Tyler 21st, Ron Hollifield 22nd, Nick Crawford 23rd, Caleb West 24th, Brian Wertman in the 35 starts 25th, Chris Puglisi, Puglisi I think is the correct pronunciation there for you, Chris, in 26th, Jackson West 27th, and rounding out the field is Antonio Bannister in the 10 car. And with that, we are ready to kick this action into high gear here. Everyone getting themselves set up on pit road, and that pace truck, whipping out the truck tonight, going to lead this field around, I believe, one time before giving the reins to that 12 Toyota Supra on the inside of Mark Arthur. I think we've got every car on track right now, and we will be rolling momentarily. Tonight, we've got 160 laps around the Phoenix Raceway. 160. Stage 1 comes to a conclusion at lap number 35. That will be what we're looking for the first stage. 35, not too long of a run. Fuel won't be a concern. Fuel runs are anywhere between 45 to 50 laps tonight. So stage 1, not of concern. Stage 2, we'll worry about stage 2 when we get there. And for now, all eyes will turn to the 2 on the front row. Mark Arthur, Cody Gibson, followed by Jamie Walker, Kyle Wellman. That is going to be our first 2 rows for the start right here. Got a long run before we get to the restart zone, before that green flag is thrown. We'll see what kind of a restart we can get right here, and we'll see just how crazy it is through the dogleg. For the 3rd time in the All-American Racing League, we are going racing. Green flag is in the air, and we are going. Through the first lap, Mark Arthur is going to lead this race, already pulling half a second gap on second place. That's going to be Joshua Kanata, who started P5 already up into second place, looking to make some headway. That's Jamie Walker on the outside in that 88 car, looking for a shot around the outside. Cody Gibson has fallen down to P4, perhaps taking it a little easy on those tires to begin. We've got some battles further back, nearly 3 wide, with the 43, the 55, and the 45 back here. They get it sorted out, everyone trying to find where they need to run, where they need to slot in, and what they need to do to get through stage number 1. Because at the end of the day, you can't go very far if you're not making it out of stage number 1. With that being said, Jamie Walker is going to clip the wall right there, battling on the outside of the 16 of Joshua Kanata. Driver who is running in the top 3 in points so far this season, having a great run. I believe the top 3 in points. I might be mistaken on the 16, but either way, has been a top 3 driver, in my humble opinion. Gonna give up that spot to Jamie Walker, who missed out on the race in Daytona. But Jamie Walker now in that 88, a driver that these guys have to watch out for. I've raced alongside him before, and he is quick in that 88 car on track, but the 20 on scoring. We'll look to get that sorted for future weeks. Sorry for the confusion right there with the 88 car. Looks like most of the leaders have got it sorted out. Closest battle on track, it's going to be the 55. That's Gabriel Goli working over Joseph Klein, or maybe the other way around right now on track. These two at the tail end of the top 10, and they might be closing in on Joey Katina in the 14, who had some issues through turn 1 and 2 right there. Looks like he's gonna get passed up around the outside by maybe both of these drivers. Gonna have a go at it through the dog leg. Everyone ahead remains single filed out as we run. That's gonna bring the 45. That's Alex Fuller in that Scooby-Doo machine. Round the outside, gonna try and work over that 14 car. Not going too well for Joey Katina, who is now down 4 positions from where he started this race. He just lost 3 of those in about 1 lap. And up front, the pressure is on. Jamie Walker is closing in on our pole sitter in the 12 car. We'll see what Jamie can do right here. Trying to lead the charge for those Chevy Camaros tonight. You can't miss that bright green Mountain Dew car on track. You see it coming from about a mile away. That and that bright pink, that the 50 car, Samuel Garcia, that bright pink front end. Can't miss that one either. I love a good standout paint scheme. If I do say so myself, that is. Nolan Mills quietly running in P6 right now, right where he started, just kind of slotted in, counting down the laps, making it count. Joseph Klein to the inside of Tanner Marr now, looking to take away a position. This is a battle for P8 on track as we run. Can't quite get it done that time, but that 5 car is going to have the optimal line down into turn 3. You want to be on the bottom in 3, but you want to be on the top in turns 1 and 2, and it's a little bit of a conundrum that if you can make side-by-side battles work pretty good around a track like this when one side of the track prefers the bottom and one side of the track prefers the top. Kind of evens out if you can drive the weaker part of the track hard enough. You can make it work. As we now see Tanner Marr falling into the clutches of the 45 of Alex Fuller. He's going to get passed up 3 times, just like the 14 car. So maybe not so indicative of the 14 of Joey Katina not having speed, but maybe it's that trio of Klein, Goley, and Fuller who are on a mission. Those 3 just in a train making their way up through the field. They are up 3, 4, and 4 positions from where they started respectively. So we're watching a little bit of a train make their way through the field right now, a little bit of a tandem of drivers. They are going to get split up as Alex Fuller cannot clear Tanner Marr. Tanner Marr is going to be able to slot back into line right there and kind of recompose himself, regain his rhythm just a little bit. Still one of the closest battles on track. Further back, driver who we didn't expect to see so far back is the 74 of Nick Crawford, one of 2 drivers who scored a top 5 in both of the races so far this season. And in the preseason race at Phoenix Raceway for the All-American Racing League, Nick Crawford was one of the contenders for the race win. I would know, I was there. I was racing these guys in the preseason, got to go door to door with some of the best that we've got here, and Nick Crawford was one of them. Had a good time racing that 74. I'm sure we'll see him make his way up through the field as the night goes on. He's already up 6 positions from where he started, running back in P17 on track. At the moment, we jump further up the field, and we see that the 16 car is under pressure from the 7 of Cody Gibson. Joshua Kanata now going to be looking in his mirror as Cody Gibson looks to make his way back up into the top 3. Remember, Cody Gibson in that Flamin' Hot Cheetos number 7. He started outside pole. He let a couple of drivers go early on. Figured maybe he'd set in, figure out his rhythm, maybe save some tires a little bit, perhaps. And now that 7 car is fancying a shot at the 16, but catching somebody and passing them, 2 different things further back. A slight brush up into the wall for the 50 of Samuel Garcia. Going to lose that spot to the inside. That's Nolan Mills in that 1 car. Unmistakable paint scheme, can't miss it. Black with the orange stripes. Move Nolan Mills up into P5. As it looks like this battle has settled itself out for the most part. Pressure is still on further up. Cody Gibson pressuring the 16 of Joshua Kanata, still looking to put some pressure on and maybe get this pass done. Up front, Mark Arthur has kind of held off Jamie Walker for the most part. That gap is steadied out for the time being. They have about a second, just over a second, over 3rd place Joshua Kanata in the 16 right here. As we continue to watch this battle, we can kind of see the closing rate on entry for Cody Gibson down into turn number 3 off of 4. Gibson's going to take a little bit of a wider line and not opt to take the dog leg. Interesting that none of these drivers are opting to take the dog leg. Gibson's going to dive it in real deep right here. Looks like both ends of the racetrack, Cody Gibson's able to get a much stronger corner entry. Through the center of the corner off, that's kind of where Joshua Kanata's got the advantage at the moment. And I can't help but think that I would prefer the way the 16 car is driving at the moment, because if you're driving in as hard as Cody Gibson is, I feel like you're going to be really hard on that right front tire, and that's going to be the name of the game at a track like Phoenix tonight in this O'Reilly Series race car that we use for the All-American Racing League. They'll get tight on you. They'll want to push, and that right front tire, you got to take care of it. It's going to take the most load through these corners, and rotating the rear end in a healthy manner is not the easiest feat in these race cars, so we'll see how it plays out. Nolan Milne's getting a little sideways as he dives down to the dog leg and tries to take a little bit of a shortcut. It's worth at least a tenth every time you do it, and I do like an advantage even if negligible. Kyle Wellman, Samuel Garcia, that's the battle on track right now. This is for P6. The 50 car of Garcia on the outside, Wellman on the inside in that black, orange, and camo 42. Kyle Wellman down 2 spots from where he started as well. He's going to dive down across the dog leg to try and clear down into turn number 3. He is going to get there. He's going to slide up the track, though, and Garcia might be able to catch him with a quick little crossover here off of turn number 2. He's not going to get there and give the spot to Kyle Wellman down the back straightaway. Closest battle on track. One of the closest battles. There's a handful that are about the same distance. Driver we haven't talked about yet, Larry Bell in the 43, closing in on the 14 of Joey Gattina. A little bit of a brush in the wall for Tanner Marr further up. Got a little bit of a hornet's nest going on right here, kind of starting with the 55 of Gabriel Goli, leading this pack of drivers, the closest bunch on track. This is P9 all the way back through P13 as they run. Little pack to keep an eye on. Further back, Jackson West making a move on Caleb West in the 48. This is all the way back in P20 on track right now. Still got to get a number on the side of that car for the 76 of Jackson West. But having a good little battle with the 48 car. Down into turn 1 we go, and they are crossing each other over as we work lap number 21 out of 35 in stage number 1. No incidents so far, no cautions so far, as we look to make it to the end of stage number 1 clean and green. Nolan Milnes has put together a little bit of speed now. He's starting to put the pressure on Cody Gibson in the 7, who has been unable to make the pass on Joshua Kanata in the 16. We'll see what Nolan Milnes can do in that 1 car. It seems like a lot of these drivers are kind of getting into passing range, and they're getting hindered a little bit by that dirty air, an effect that will play into the picture here at a track like Phoenix. It's not usually a track you would think of for air racing. Usually you're talking 1.5 mile tracks or larger, but Phoenix, albeit a 1 mile track and technically a short track, it sometimes doesn't race like a short track. You can definitely use that dirty air to your advantage and kind of hinder the drivers behind you. Defensive driving, if you will. It seems like that's kind of hindering the ability to pass here and there. We'll see what these drivers can come up with to overcome that obstacle as we make our way further into tonight's event. It seems like Cody Gibson, he's ready to go, though. He sees the pressure in his rearview mirror. Maybe he's deciding he needs to try and step it up a notch to get around the 16, lest he be passed by the 1 car. All the while, Mark Arthur has run away with the lead of this race in first place in that 12 car down into turn number 1. Now sitting almost a second ahead of Jamie Walker in second place. Got about another second to get to Joshua Kanata in this mini battle right here for P3 on track. They've sorted themselves out, potentially. Maybe Nolan Milnes going to the inside of Cody Gibson. Yes, he's going to set it in deep. He gets that rear end sideways. And I will tell you what, folks, the amount of times I have seen that rear end step out on that 1 car of Nolan Milnes and not seen any issues come out of it is incredibly impressive driving from the 1 car. Quick little shout out to Nolan Milnes, who's been the cleanest driver this season. We talked about it before the race started, but he is able to hassle that Chevy Camaro around the track. He's getting that rear end sideways on entry, and it is working a treat. He's got that car under control at all times. Phenomenal driving from the one. He is up now into P number 4, looking to improve further. Joshua Kanata in his sights now. These two have already had a couple good battles this season. We'll see what they can do. Further back, the 74 of Nick Crawford's going to fancy another pass right here. This time it's going to be Matthew Pavlik in the 30. Can he make the pass right here? Down into turn number 3, looks like he can. That 30 car looks to be struggling just a little bit. Is Pavlik bouncing off the wall a couple times? Looks pretty tight. It's going to be another spot for Nick Crawford. He's our biggest mover. He's up 9 positions from where he started this race. Now up in P14. Slowly but methodically picking these drivers off, getting ready for the stage 1 reset. Further back, Zachary Wake in a little bit of a hornet's nest right here. He's got the 05 and the 83 directly ahead. Zachary Wake, our winner in Daytona, first race of the season. Didn't have the race he was looking for in Auto Club last week. Looking for a good rebound event right here is driver 39. He's going to get ahead of the 83, excuse me, and make it happen. Down the dog leg we go, and down into turn number 1, looking for the run on the 05. He'll slot in for now and start working towards that next pass. Back here for P17 on track. Currently working lap number 30 of 35 for stage number 1. Jamie Walker in second place, passing a lap down car. That is not for position. The 54 machine of Chris Lawrence going 1 lap down right here in that blue machine. That green machine a little further back. Antonio Bannister in the 10 also going a lap down. To our race leaders now at the tail end of stage number 1. He's going to get right up and out of the way of these guys to the best of his ability. Joey Gattina and Alex Fuller now. They've got a battle going on track. Across the front stretch we go. The 14, the 45. One of these drivers has been going down. One of them's been going up, and we've got a caution on track. Issues for the 1, the 10, the 5, the 14. Plows into the parking lot. And boy, if I did not jinx the 1 car for saying he was the cleanest driver all season, I am so sorry, Nolan. Let's queue up a replay. We have got significant damage for multiple drivers on track, and this came absolutely out of nowhere, and this will not end the first stage. Let's see if we can't get this. This is a number of drivers involved in whatever happened right here. We're going to slow it down. We've got the 1 car running in P4. He's going to get right hooked by the lap down car in the 10. The lap down car of Antonio Bannister gets into the 1 car and sends him into the wall. And I can only imagine from here that more drivers are going to be collected with these two sliding down the track. The 10 slides down. Kyle Wellman's got nowhere to go. Joseph Klein is sideways because he hit the brakes so hard to avoid it. He's going to slide in. The 50 of Garcia's got nowhere to go. He'll get a little bit of damage. He might get away with that one at the moment, but look at this. The 14 car, just nowhere to go for Gattina, just right into the 10, just about as hard as you could imagine. He was on the brakes. He was trying to get out of it. The 43 slows up. The 30, Pavlik gets an insane hit right there. Unbelievable stuff. I want to get another replay. In the meanwhile, everyone is on pit road. Everyone on track is on pit road. Let's get a better look for you guys out there at home watching this event. Let's take a look from the chopper cam, and maybe we can rewind it a little bit. Let's take a look at how this built up. We're watching the 10 car and the 1 car down into turn number 1. We haven't even hit the corner, and the 10 kind of comes down into the 1. So I don't make the decisions. I don't make the calls. But it looks to me like the 10 came down just a little too early into one of our top 5 drivers. And from there, it was pandemonium for a couple seconds at that. A couple really hard hits for these drivers. A lot of drivers involved on that one. And all of these drivers have made their pit stop. The entire field came down. Nobody fancied trying to stay out for some stage points right here. As we approach the end of stage number 1, Mark Arthur retains the lead. Jamie Walker, Joshua Kanata, 2nd and 3rd. Cody Gibson will be 4th. and I believe Samuel Garcia will be 5th. The scoring will be a little shaken up as these drivers go double file and figure out where they need to be running. But that should tentatively be the running order. Terminal damage for the likes of terminal or near terminal damage for the likes of Antonio Bannister in the 10, Matthew Pavlik in the 30, Joey Gattina in the 14. They are unable to pull it back on track at the moment. They will need significant repairs. Kyle Wellman is able to roll around on track right now, getting some damage fixed. Joseph Klein able to continue rolling for the most part, getting some damage fixed. Nolan Milnes will be going down a handful of laps. The damage on that one car doesn't look terminal per se, based on my timing and scoring, but we will keep tabs on all of the drivers involved in that event. And with that, we are doubled up, ready to get this race back underway. We are on lap 34, and stage 1 ends at the conclusion of lap 35, which means the stage points will be paid out at the conclusion of the next lap. Lights are back out on the pace truck. Race control deciding to extend this caution by 1 lap just to not have a back-to-back caution for the stage. So that will be our stage break due to incident, and this does put us in a very interesting position. We've got 50 laps to the end of stage 2 from the end of the next lap. So call it 51 laps to the end of stage 2, crossing the line right here. Drivers can make it about 45 to 50 laps on fuel, but they've pit a couple of laps ago on lap 32. Drivers will be out of the fuel window to make it to the end of stage number 2, assuming it runs green, unless they save fuel. So will we see a handful of drivers electing to try and stretch their fuel to make it to the end of stage 2? It will be possible. It will be very possible for these drivers to make it to the end of stage 2, but they have to save fuel to do it. Which drivers will elect to push all out and take a pit stop halfway through or towards the end? Which ones will save? We'll keep an eye on it. We'll monitor the situation. We'll keep you updated as the pace truck pulls off and puts the field back in control, back in the hands of the 12 car of Mark Arthur. Jamie Walker on the outside in that bright green Mountain Dew Camaro. Joshua Kanata, Cody Gibson, that's our second row as we approach the restart zone once again. And Barney the Flagman's got that green flag ready to go. Into the restart zone we go. Field in the hands of the 12. Gets a great launch right there. And we are racing down towards turn 1. Mark Arthur leads the race after 1 lap on the restart. Jamie Walker in second place, not letting him go this time. Jamie Walker wants a shot at the race lead. Meanwhile, we are nearly 3 wide, a little bit further back as these drivers look to get it all corralled. That's the 05, the 43, the first 2 side by side. We got the 83 and the 39, 1 row further back. It looks like for the most part, these drivers kind of got it sorted out. Nick Crawford in the 74, by the way, he is up 15 positions from where he started, now finding himself in the 8th place running position. A great outcome for the 74, that caution, avoiding it and picking up all of those positions at the end of stage number 1. So the 74 back in the picture. But up front, Jamie Walker not ready to let Mark Arthur get away. And we are going to ride on board with Jamie Walker, driver of the 20 car. It might say 88 on the side, but we'll try to get that figured out moving forward. Putting the pressure on that Toyota Supra ahead, the 12 car who has led every single lap up to this point. Can Jamie Walker make something happen right here? No pressure from behind. They've already got a 1-second advantage on 3rd place. You can see how Jamie's able to widen the entry of the corner right there just a little bit. Down the front straightaway, not really too much usage of the dog leg. Down into turn number 3. Seems like Jamie's got the car a little more settled On corner entry right there, he's going to wrap the apron just a little bit with the left side tires. But all the while, Mark Arthur is able to maintain this gap. They might be running a little bit different, but Mark Arthur is able to maintain the gap at the moment and keep himself ahead. As that battle continues to stagnate, Cody Gibson is ahead of Joshua Kanata for P3 at the moment. Give that Flamin' Hot Cheetos Chevy Camaro a shot at chasing down those race leaders now. He had a hard time getting around the 16 for all of stage 1. Hard time no longer. And it looks like the 50 of Samuel Garcia might have some company in the form of Tanner Marr, driver of the 4 car. As we make our way across the front straightaway, it's lap number 43. We're racing to lap 85 for stage number 2. Lap 8 out of 50 in stage number 2 at the moment. Number of drivers still on pit road, multiple laps down the terminal damage group, being Joey Gattina, Matthew Pavlik, Kyle Wellman, Nolan Milnes, Antonio Bannister, Zachary Tyler. All drivers who are currently out of the running. Chris Lawrence is the only driver 1 lap down in the 54 car, running in P22. And with that, most of the field has sorted themselves out. Exception Chris Puglisi in the 53, trying to make a run here on Jackson West in the 76. Looking in the inside, can't quite find it right there. He'll have to have another go a little bit later on. Further up the field, Zachary Wake in the 39, trying to pass Larry Bell in that lightning purple lightning 43. Zachary Wake up 5 positions from where he started. Looking to secure a spot on the top 10 with this pass right here, but it's not going to come so easily. Larry Bell fighting back on the outside. Looking to make it a challenge. Down into turn number 1, we'll see who gets the advantage. Advantage 39, probably aided by the use of that dogleg right there. They'll slot back in. Going to be running in P10 now. As further up the board, this battle starts to heat up just a little bit more. Battle for P4. Joshua Kanata in the 16, Samuel Garcia, Tanner Marr, and maybe even Gabriel Goli in the 55, making his way up into the conversation. Let's ride on board with Gabriel Goli in the 55. Got a great front row seat to this little train of drivers right here, battling for the top 5. No clear indication of fuel saving up to this point for stage number 2, at least not out of any of our drivers at the head of the pack. It's really difficult when you're a driver like Garcia or Marr and you're sandwiched in a group like this. It's got to be the toughest position you can be in wheel-to-wheel racing, when you cannot make a mistake ahead of you. You don't have an inch to spare. You don't have an inch to spare behind you. You've got to somehow keep your car right in between the 2 on either end of you. And that just gets worse. That just compounds the more drivers you have in a line like this. So those 2 are doing everything they can not to get into the driver in front of them, not to let themselves get run over from behind, but also not let themselves get passed up. All the while, they're looking for a passing opportunity, and they don't want to be the ones getting passed. Some great onboard shots as Tanner Marr takes that dogleg and looks to the inside of the 50 of Garcia. Will the move stick through turns number 1 and 2? Garcia in the 50. He's going to have the run all the way down the back straightaway. We'll see if it's good enough. Tanner Marr with a pretty good run. And it looks like the 50 might be giving up 2 positions right here, because Gabriel Goli fancies a shot, and don't look now. Here comes Nick Crawford in the 74, a driver who we know has speed here in the All-American Racing League, looking to jump himself further up the running order, as it looks like these guys have mostly sorted themselves out for the time being up front. Mark Arthur has not gotten too far away from Jamie Walker, remains close in pursuit. trying to take over that race lead. I think Jamie is the faster car, but catching and passing are two different things. You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. Now to the inside goes Walker, and he's going to keep it level. Down the back straightaway we go. He's going to have a great opportunity down into turn number 3. Look how much deeper he drives it in. Mark Arthur giving up the position willingly. Down into turn number 3 right there, going to live to fight another day is Arthur, and that sends Jamie Walker into the lead. New race leader for the first time in tonight's event, and Mark Arthur might have more issues pressing as that 7 car is closing in on our race leaders. Cody Gibson is slowly starting to bring himself into the picture. See if I can pull up some previous times right here as we watch them get shuffled across the line right here. Orange is going to be good for Gibson, faster than Mark Arthur for Gibson. Green would be Mark Arthur faster than Gibson. That's what you're looking at. All of the orange means the 7 is catching the 12. We'll see as they go around the lap, around the start finish line one more time right here, see how that plays out. All the while, Jamie Walker has already stretched that lead out to about 1.25 seconds ahead of these guys across the line. You can see the gap closing visually at this point. Almost 4 tenths, 3.5 tenths, and that time it was 1.5 tenths. So Cody Gibson, clearly the faster driver right now. That just leaves me with one question. Mark Arthur shutting that car off to make it to the end of stage 2. We'll follow on board all the way across the front straightaway right here, and we'll listen to that engine. You can hear how much quieter the inside of this car is versus the 7, who is not hitting the clutch on corner entry right there. That is all I need to know. Mark Arthur giving up the positions to try and make it to the end of stage 2 on fuel. Willing to give up the track position in the meantime. Jamie Walker, with the lead he has gained right now, almost 2 seconds, surely not saving any fuel at the moment. Cody Gibson taking after Mark Arthur. Cody Gibson got the clutch rolled in, though he's going to need to throw it in much sooner if he wants to keep that right front tire alive. You could hear those tires screaming. One more time. You don't want that much tire squeal, but it's a little bit of a different game. When you're throwing the clutch in, you don't have the engine braking on corner entry to help you slow the car down. And so much of the rhythm of cornering and oval racing is based on engine braking combined with any actual brake you might be using. When you use the clutch, that throws it all out of rhythm. You got to adapt pretty quickly. But Cody Gibson in second place, he is now throwing the clutch in to try and save some fuel. As the laps tick by, Nick Crawford in the 74, he's going to have a look on Gabriel Ngoli in the 55. This is a battle for P5 on track. Top 5 rests in the hands of the 55 as we run. Halfway through stage number 2 now, just about. 24 out of 50 in this portion of the race. Nick Crawford, our biggest mover, he is up 17 positions from where he started this event and looking to make it 18 before too long. Can't help but wonder how many of these drivers are saving fuel and how many of them are not. We'll find out as we get closer and closer to the end of the stage. Jamie Walker's lead has increased to over 2 seconds up front. Looking to run away with the lead, hope for a caution, and if not, have to come down for a splash before the stage is up, more than likely. As we continue to watch this battle right here, Nick Crawford's fast enough. He's got the speed. He's just got to set up the pass in just the right manner. Got to wait for the right opportunity to make it happen. It might be on exit of turns 1 and 2 right here. If he can get a good corner, he's going to get the run, the momentum, turning down the track, and now following that 55 all the way down the back straightaway. Oh, he gets into the wall. He had a lot of momentum built up right there. He's going to have to kind of size the move up one more time. Maybe a good turns 3 and 4. It's a great turns 3 and 4 for that Toyota Supra. Ngoli decides to defend the inside. Crawford might look to the inside, might look for some more momentum around the outside. He gets close. to touch in the rear bumper. The momentum is going to go to the 74, and I think he'll pull it to the inside down here unless goalie defends it down into turn number 3. 5th position on track is maybe going to switch hands right here to Crawford in the 74. He's going to try and muscle his way up there just a little bit. Use the shortcut to try and make the move stick. Down into turn number 1 we go. Make it up 18 positions for Nick Crawford, now running in 5th position. Goalie going to try and slot in behind and follow him up the field a little further back. Alex Fuller in that Scooby-Doo machine looking to make a move on William Bruton in the 83. He's going to get it done. A little bit of an aggressive move to fill the space right there. Gets into the wall just a little bit, but no harm, no foul. He's going to keep that going. And just behind, Stony Benfield going to fancy a shot at Bruton as well. We got battles all over the track. Dakota Moniz under fire from Zachary Wake. He is going to lose that position, is the 0-5, and slot back in right there. The field is incredibly spread out at the moment, given the fuel-saving situation that we are looking at. Race leader, Jamie Walker, just now about to put the 80 car 1 lap down. That's Rob Higgs Jr. in that 80 machine. Jamie Walker has a 3-second lead just about over Cody Gibson in 2nd place. He hasn't pulled too far ahead of Mark Arthur, trying to get some fuel saving done. Joshua Kanata runs comfortably in 4th as Nick Crawford continues to work his way up through the field, now trying to chase down that 16 car. But is Nick Crawford saving fuel? Nick Crawford is throwing the clutch in, making his way up through the field and saving fuel at the same time. So that 74 car is looking mighty dangerous as we run. Gabriel Goalie might not be done with the 74 just yet, though. Might not be wanting him to get too far out ahead as we work lap number 67 at the moment. Stage 2 ends at the end of 85. Still got a ways to go here before we get to the end of stage number 2. But the second any drivers hit pit road, I'll be the first to let you know, as Alex Fuller makes his move on Jackson West in the 76 to the inside, trying to make that move stick. A lot of momentum for that 76 down the back straightaway, not going to work. And the 45 car is up 1 more position. Tanner Marr is saving a lot of fuel to be running that slowly on corner entry. Let's jump on board with old Tanner. Cutting the car off pretty early on the straightaway, getting out of that high rev range. That's going to be the best way you can save fuel right there. You got to kind of make up for it, middle to exit a corner. Try not to lose too much time. I'm sure Tanner will have enough fuel to make it to the end at the rate he's going. Cody Gibson under pressure from Mark Arthur, who maybe hit his number. Perhaps Mark feeling a little more comfortable about where he's at fuel-wise. Remember, Cody Gibson didn't start saving until he got by Mark Arthur. Is he going to give up the position? Down into turn number 3, he is. Cody Gibson not confident he can make it without more fuel saving, so move Mark Arthur back up to P2 and potentially effectively P1, assuming Jamie Walker does indeed have to pit if we go green. That's how it's shaping up at the moment. Most of the gaps in the field have sorted themselves out. Closest battle on the track remains Alex Fuller trying to chase down Tanner Marr. Battle for P10 as we run. All of these drivers trying to find a good balance of pace, track position, and fuel saving to make sure they can reach the end of stage 2 without needing that extra pit stop. Though, if you want to get a little bit risky, you can say, to heck with fuel saving, go up and get some positions, running at full pace and hope that a caution brings everyone down pit road instead and you get to keep that track position. That would be just the situation that Jamie Walker, our race leader, is looking for, as he works almost a 4-second race lead now. This pack right here being sprinkled in, sprinkling in a couple of lap down cars to make it a little more interesting. The one of Milnes being a lap down. The 54 is a lap down car as well. A lot of these lead lap guys trying to navigate their way through nice and clean. Looks like they will. As Tanner Marr might fancy a move on Dakota Moniz in the 05. Maybe Tanner is able to kind of step on the loud pedal a little bit more, get moving his way back up through the field. We'll see what he's able to do as Alex Fuller now closes in on the outside. Nope, Tanner Marr still shutting it down quite a bit on corner entry. I think that's going to be enough that time to bring Alex Fuller around in the 45. Move Alex up to P10 on track in the Scooby-Doo machine. Jackson West in that 76, that numberless green and black Toyota Supra right there. He is up 15 positions from where he started this race. He's also having a fantastic turn of form after qualifying. Gonna overshoot corner entry right there and get real loose out of the rear end is Mr. West. But all in all, not too shabby. That's gonna sort that out. Up towards the front, closest battle. Cody Gibson not letting Mark Arthur breathe. These two very close on fuel. Both trying to stretch it to the end, both fighting for the track position. Mark Arthur had it, Cody Gibson took it, and then Mark Arthur got it back. Cody Gibson not ready to let that 12 car get too far ahead. Maybe Mark Arthur pushed a little too much trying to take that position. And now he's in hardcore saving mode. Could be a trend that we continue to see between these two as they try and scrap it out. All the while, Josh Okanada in the 16, he's not had to battle any cars. He might be able to close in on these two with a better fuel situation before it's all said and done. Anything is possible with 9 laps to go in stage number 2. Stage points on the line, but more importantly, track position for stage 3, which I think will go a very long way, especially whoever can be in control of the race. You can do a lot of defensive driving. You can do a lot when you're the control car. And I think that's what we're witnessing right here. We're witnessing the effective battle for who's going to have that track position, assuming they stretch enough fuel to make it to the end of stage number 2. Will it be the 12 or will it be the 7? As Jamie Walker's lead has now grown to 5 seconds. Not saving any fuel out front is driver number 20. And who knows, a caution could change everything. You've always got to be ready for that possibility as well. Cody Gibson not able to really close in any further than kind of that 2 car length gap. 1 to 2 car length gap. Josh Okanada in the 16. I do believe he is closing in on these two, however, as they continue to fuel save and put pressure on one another. Perhaps that 16 car is looking good. We've got our first pit stop. Stoney Benfield in the 75. Ron Hollifield in the 25. Going to be the first two to bring it down on pit road. Jamie Walker, a race leader, continues to stay out on track. He's got a big enough lead that it almost encompasses the entire back straightaway. As this battle continues onward, only those 2 drivers on pit road so far, both lead lap drivers, be the first to make their pit stop. 5 laps to go in stage 2 at the moment, and it is now or never on making it on fuel. These drivers got to remember to bring it in on pit road, assuming the pit road will close with a couple laps remaining. Jamie Walker, a race leader, he is indeed going to pull it down on pit road. Gabriel Ngoli in the 55 is not going to make it. He's going to pull down on pit road, as is Jackson West. He cannot make it on fuel. He's pulling it down on pit road. And with that, William Bruton's on pit road in the 83. We jump back up front for the race for P1. Joseph Klein in the 5 is on pit road as well. I think we're safe to assume anyone on track at this point is probably in a spot where they're saving fuel to make it. This will be the battle for the stage win and for the track position. Dakota Moniz in the 05, he cannot make it. He pulls it down on pit road out of the top 10. Brian Wertman is on pit road. Caleb West is on pit road. 9 drivers have not pit yet. 9 drivers trying to stretch it to the end of stage 2. Mark Arthur in control. Cody Gibson in second. Joshua Kanata closing in. It's going to be 2 laps to go in stage number 2. At the line this time by 2 laps to go. Cody Gibson looks to the inside. Joshua Kanata is there and might have a say before it is all over. Nobody pit that time around, and Cody Gibson might be looking to do a little bit of a crossover down the back straightaway. He's going to have a little bit of momentum. We do have a couple lap cars coming up ahead. How much are these drivers willing to push? And let's not forget, they need enough fuel for the pace laps after the fact. They're going to get around the 54. Cody Gibson dives it down to the inside, trying to cut as much track as he can. One more lap car in the form of Bruton in the 83 on the high side, trying to avoid losing this lap right here. Mark Arthur's got to check up to not get into the 83. Final time for stage number 2 to the line. Mark Arthur in the 12 is going to hold on and win stage number 2 ahead of Cody Gibson and Joshua Kanata, who was right there to try and make it happen, try and mount the pressure right there. There's our yellow, as the remainder of the drivers have made their way across the line, and we are going to see quite a few wave arounds in the field. Jamie Walker should get the lucky dog here, former race leader. That'll be 10 cars on the lead lap, plus any who elect to take the wave around. Now, we're in an interesting position. Drivers like Gabriel Goli, Jackson West, Dakota Moniz, Stoney Benfield, Ron Hollifield, Chris Puglisi. These drivers did not take 4 tires. They either took fuel only or 2 tires, and that is going to hurt these guys. They maybe wanted a splash to try and stay on the lead lap. They are going to have to take the wave around and be on a tire disadvantage for stage 3. They are going to need a caution to come out relatively quick in stage 3 to get their race back on track as we get ready to pull down on pit road. Mark Arthur going to lead the charge into the pits, and he had a healthy gap. Cody Gibson does close up. No more pressure from third on back. Couple of lap cars mixed in as well, and this should get sorted pretty well. Both drivers come to a stop at about the same time right there. We'll see who is able to get the better exit. Looks like Mark Arthur gets a great exit. Joshua Kanata is going to beat Cody Gibson off of pit road. Move the 16 car up to P2 with that right there. We do have a speeding penalty for the 39 of Zachary Wake. I am showing a penalty flag, whether it was speeding or perhaps passing under yellow, whatever the sort. The 39 is showing a penalty flag at the moment. Looks like the order as it happened off of pit road: Arthur, Kanata, Gibson, Crawford, Marr. That is our top 5. Larry Bell in 6th. Still waiting to see what happens with Zachary Wake in 7th with that penalty flag. Alex Fuller in 8th. Looks like Jamie Walker took the wave around and now makes his way down onto pit road. Lap car is going to take a wave around right now. Quite a few drivers, I do believe. Looks like Gabriel Goli's not going to be able to. He is officially going to go a lap down. We'll see how it all cycles out. A little confusing as to how everything is shaking out at the moment. Jamie Walker pulled down to the inside of the track and will not be on the lead lap. Jamie Walker, a lap down, issues for the 20. A driver who is contending for the win with serious issues now gets that car going again. Unsure what happened with Walker, but we are restarting this race. The pace truck is already off. and a number of drivers have yet to catch up to the field. I don't believe we're restarting this time. No, they threw a one more yellow flag lap out there, did race control, to let the field get sorted out just a little bit more. They're going to pull the pace car back out on track, pace truck. Give it one more lap for some of these drivers further back to get sorted out. A little bit of confusion there. We do only have 9 drivers on the lead lap based on timing and scoring, despite some of the waiver rounds that we got. It looks like most of those drivers elected to go ahead and pit for the tires, even though they were a lap down. Fair play to them. Pace truck pulls off, potentially for good this time. That inside line's real long with the wave rounds that we did get. And Mark Arthur in control of the field. Joshua Kanata to his outside. Now looking to get into the restart zone and send us green for stage number 3. Battle is on behind Arthur, and it's a battle for P2 and 3. Joshua Kanata gets it sorted. Nick Crawford now in the 74, move him up to P3. A driver who we have not seen up towards the front yet tonight has finally recovered all those positions from his poor qualifying effort. Nick Crawford up 20 positions from where he started, move him into P3. Joshua Kanata in second into 16, now looking to see if he can chase down the 12 of Mark Arthur here in the closing stage of the race. Working lap 93 of 160. Mark Arthur in control, has led the most laps so far. Winner of both stage 1 and 2, Joshua Kanata in second. Nick Crawford looking to pull ahead of Cody Gibson at the moment. Larry Bell having a fantastic run, currently finding himself in P5. Is the Five Kings Motorsports driver in that Chevy Camaro, ahead of Alex Fuller. Saving that fuel worked a treat for a couple of these drivers who are now among the 9 lead lap cars remaining. Tanner Marr in P7 remains on the lead lap. Zachary Wake and Dakota Moniz both look to be doing just fine as well. We've got quite the battle for the free pass position, and among these lap down drivers, that's Benfield in the 75, and in the 50, it's Garcia on the outside, trying to get something sorted right here. Currently, the highest running driver for the Lucky Dog is Gabriel Goli in the 55, just ahead of this group right here, that highlighter green and white Ford Mustang. Got that advantage at the moment. These drivers trying to sort themselves out. We know how much speed the 20 of Jamie Walker has. That bright Mountain Dew Chevy Camaro will surely be making his way up through these guys, picking them off one by one. We'll see what Walker can do. Driver we haven't talked too much about yet tonight, Ron Hollifield in the 25. He's up 11 spots from where he started, having a pretty good showing. Unfortunately, a part of that pack that had to pit and went a lap down, but finds himself second for the Lucky Dog battle, trying to hold on ahead of Benfield in the 75, doing everything he can. Benfield is putting the pressure on quite a bit just behind, though. All the while, Gabriel Goli in the 55 trying to run away, trying to get as much time, as much track between him and those behind so he can be the beneficiary of any fortunate caution that might display. Those two behind are still side by side, cannot get away from each other, and it is the closest battle on track. All of the race leaders have sorted themselves out for the time being. Arthur, Kanata, Gibson are top 3. Benfield gonna fancy another shot to the inside. Walker might go 3 wide right here. As we dive down into turn number 1, gonna think better of it. Has another opportunity. Dives back down to the inside. You can tell the Walker's faster than these two, but there's just no way around when they're side by side all the way through the lap. You see as the 25 gets way wide on corner entry right there, and that is going to be 3 positions just like that gone for Ron Hollifield, and that moves Jamie Walker into some clean running area. He can now take Benfield 2 wide and try and make it work around the outside. Jamie Walker going to get a fantastic run through turns 1 and 2. Pull that Camaro all the way down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. Gets on the brakes way later. You can see just how sideways that car wanted to get. Keeps it planted. And Jamie Walker is going to pull this position on corner entry right here. And now he's got 1 driver ahead of him for the lucky dog. That's the 55 of Gabriel Ngoli. He's going to try and chase him down on the back straightaway here. We'll ride on board with Jamie Walker. And we'll try and watch as he closes in for the lucky dog battle right here. Once he gets to the 55, he wants a caution to come out as soon as he can. First driver 1 lap down at the time of caution gets to get their lap back for free. And that's what we're battling for. That's what we mean when we say lucky dog, folks. The battle for the free lap back, and it's between these two, and they are going at it sideways down the back straightaway. Ngoli fights back on the outside. Walker can't clear. Down the front straightaway we go. Advantage Walker. Can he get there? All he needs to do is clear. He's going to drive it deep into turn number 1. He's got to get that woed up. Ngoli might have a shot on the inside. No, he doesn't. Power back down for Walker, and that moves Jamie Walker up into the lucky dog spot to settle out that battle. Up front in P2, Joshua Kanata's got company in the form of Cody Gibson, who is now closing in that Flaming Hot Cheetos Chevy Camaro, looking to get back up in contention for the race win. Mark Arthur has pulled about a 1.5-second gap on the rest of the field as we run. We will need at least 1 pit stop here in stage 3. Whether under green or yellow remains to be seen. We are just now give it about 5 more laps and we'll be approaching our pit window. If a caution were to come out now, it would be a bit of a stretch. Cody Gibson closing in quite a bit through turns 1 and 2. We're watching from on board the rear bumper of Joshua Kanata's 16 car. It's a better exit here down into turn 3. Gibson's able to get that car down on the apex much better. But Kanata's going to have a good bit of momentum using that high side. Down the front straightaway we go. Not going to be taking the dog leg. And we'll watch turns 1 and 2 one more time right here. Cody Gibson closing in on entry quite a bit. He's able to get entry down a lot better than some of the drivers he's racing. But Kanata's got good exit speed, and that would be good enough to maintain that position unless Cody Gibson can figure something else out or unless Kanata makes a mistake. All the while, Nick Crawford running back here in P4 with a great view of everything that's happening ahead of him. Riding pretty high after that qualifying run, being up 19 positions from where he started. But I tell you what, Nick Crawford doesn't want to settle for anything less than a podium tonight. At the rate he's going, though, he will become the only driver to have finished in the top 5 in every single event, with Nolan Milnes finding trouble early in the race. We'll see if the 74 can hold on and continue that streak. Got another close battle much further back in the track. It's Joseph Klein, Jackson West. This is a battle for P16, the 5 and the numberless 76. The 5 trying to hold on, or maybe just making the pass, one of the two. But it looks like they've just now got it sorted. Maybe, maybe not. Jackson West might fancy a shot back down to the inside. Yes, he is. Gonna dive down to the inside and try and put the pressure on. I tell you what, Joseph's not getting him too much room. As we make our way down into turn 1, round the outside goes Klein, trying to make it stick. They are door banging just about down the back straightaway. Advantage Klein. Yet again, down into turn number 3. It's so hard to make the pass on the bottom through turns 1 and 2. That outside line is incredibly strong, and he is going to have to line up for the move. Yet again is Mr. West just behind the 48 car, trying to move up just a little bit right here. The 83 of William Bruton, he is down an additional lap. The 83 car right here, he's another cog in the wheel, if you will, of all of this mayhem, that is. Looks like these two have probably got it sorted out for the time being, as have the drivers running in 2nd and 3rd, and it looks like we might have no, excuse me, I was looking at the wrong interval. I thought we had issues for Nick Crawford, but no. Nick Crawford still running comfortably right here with these guys. Gone almost 3 seconds before you get back to the 5th place runner, Alex Fuller. From these two right here, you got to go all the way back here. You can see Jamie Walker miles ahead of everyone else who is racing for the lucky dog position. That bright green car a lap down still, but Alex Fuller in the Scooby-Doo machine looking to take home a solid top 5, very solid top 5, and some good points. At the rate this is going, it should shape up that way. Larry Bell having a fantastic run as well, capitalizing on all of the chaos tonight. Zachary Wake definitely needed this, currently running in P7. Winner in Daytona, did not have the race he was looking for in Auto Club. We mentioned it earlier, but Zachary Wake needed a good bounce back week, score some more solid points, keep the momentum on his side as opposed to not. And a good top 10 run like what he's shaping up for at the moment would be just what he needs. Joseph Klein, Jackson West, they have not gotten away from each other. They have a lap down car to their lap down status. Oh, they're going to get in to the 53. Chris Puglisi, fantastic save. Gets clipped by the 5 of Joseph Klein, and they keep it going, but that opens the door for Jackson West to get to the inside and maybe make the pass down into turn 3. He is able to drive it in deep enough, and that battle is finally at its conclusion, almost taking an innocent bystander in the form of Puglisi, but he gets it figured out. Great save from the 53, and wow, the 83 is into the wall right there. The 53 was sideways on entry. This might not be over. Yeah, there might be quite a bit to witness right here, and also, Puglisi that was for position, as a matter of fact. I had my facts wrong right there, so apologies for that. Puglisi is on the same lap as these guys, and that was for position. That he got tagged right there, and now he's fallen back quite a bit. It looks like he's got some rear bumper damage from that contact with the 5, and that might be hindering the handling of that 53 Camaro. The left rear bumped up quite a bit. Joshua Kanata in the 16. Surprise, surprise, he pulls it down. Driver out of P2 pulls it down on pit road, the first one of our race leaders to make the move, and he is in the fuel window officially. Joshua Kanata, good to make it from here. He's not going to pull any other race leaders with him this time. So the 16 car electing for a very early pit stop compared to what I might expect out of some of these drivers here in stage number 3. The longer these guys stay out, the more of an offset there's going to be. That means advantage Kanata on the end of the sequence, but then they'll be charging back. Dakota Moniz in the 0-5. He's going to bring it down on pit road. Our race leaders elect to stay out yet again. Mark Arthur with a 2.5 second lead over Cody Gibson. Nick Crawford in 3rd. Alex Fuller up to 4th. Larry Bell up to 5th. With the 16 car making his pit stop. And of course, Kanata's going to hope that he's not in traffic. And he gets sideways on those cold tires. Got to be very careful on those cold tires. He is going to lose a lot of time with that slide right there. Not what he needs to see. Now is when he needs to make up as much ground as he can while he's on the new tires and these guys are stretching their run. Very easy to happen with the cold tires. Anyone who's raced on the sim for long enough, raced in general for long enough, knows that that is something you've got to watch out for. It'll bite you. Currently watching Cody Gibson, Nick Crawford, drivers running second and third on track, still have not pit. These drivers electing to stay out longer. Zachary Wake is going to be the next lead lap driver to pull it in on the pit road as we work lap 121. 40 laps to go is when Wake decides to pull it in. Race leader Mark Arthur, he's got enough time that he can react to everyone behind him. He is not under pressure to make the pit stop. Cody Gibson sideways off of turn number 2. Keeps that Camaro pointed straight. Gets his head down and continues chugging along. He gets into the wall out of turn 4 there. Got to find that rhythm once more. No pressure from behind in the form of Nick Crawford. Will be the first to bite the bullet between these two, Gibson and Crawford. This battle for position could very much come down to a pit stop sequence. Especially if Crawford were to try and jump Gibson. I'm surprised that Kanata came in so early. It could work out very well. He'll get the race lead after the pit sequence, and then he'll be a sitting duck. But if the caution comes out with him in the race lead, and with enough laps on the tires to bring everyone back in, that's track position for the 16. If you're not winning the race, you can't do what the leader's doing and expect to win, so differing the strategy for the 16, gotta do something, gotta try something. And I do like it, at the end of the day, switching it up. These drivers are all staying out still. The top 6 on the lead lap have not made their final pit stop yet. A couple of drivers who are on the lead lap effectively have made their stop, and Cody Gibson is going to pull it down. Cody Gibson's going to be the first, or rather the second of that bunch, to bring it down. So this now might be enough to bring down the rest, namely Mark Arthur and Nick Crawford. We'll see if Arthur brings it down this time with 36 laps remaining through turns 1 and 2. Not this time. Mark Arthur stays out on track, and Cody Gibson has a speeding penalty. Cody Gibson out of P2 has a pit road speeding penalty. Too fast on entry, and that is devastating for driver of the 7 who was in contention for a podium and a phenomenal result tonight. Cody Gibson, when it mattered, speeding on pit road, add to the chaos. And Alex Fuller in the 45 is going to be the next driver to make his final pit stop. I've never seen a final pit sequence so spread apart. This is quite fascinating. Alex Fuller brings it down. Joshua Kanata should take the race lead at the end of the sequence. For how long that'll stick remains to be seen, but the 16 has had quite a few laps of fresh tire running up to this point. Doing his best to make the most of it. Jamie Walker, not on the lead lap, but he is going to bring it down on pit road finally, is the number 20. Trying to get that free pass should a caution come out, but now elects to take his final pit stop, and it looks like Mark Arthur is going to be bringing it in this time. Race leader brings it down. Nick Crawford in second place. He's going to stay out longer than the 12 of Mark Arthur now. Interesting developments right here. Nick Crawford's going to take the race lead. He's going to lead this lap right here as we work 32 laps to go at the line. Mark Arthur's on pit road. Gabriel Goli is on pit road, and he has a little bit of damage on the right side of that race car. Not sure where he picked that up. Jamie Walker has a speeding penalty, does the 88/20 of Jamie Walker, who is battling for a lucky dog spot. And Joshua Kanata here. We're watching Joshua Kanata versus Mark Arthur, who is just now getting his left sides. All the while, Joshua Kanata makes the pass for position. And down into turn 1 and 2 we go with Joshua Kanata. Mark Arthur just now exiting pit road. And that is the difference on track for the effective race lead post-pit sequence. Joshua Kanata is about a straightaway ahead, but he is on significantly older tires now. That is going to be a tire difference of 12 laps. Kanata pit on 116, Arthur on 128. Crawford stays out, Marr stays out, Larry Bell is on pit road and completing up his pit stop as we run. Benfield stays out so far, as well as Jackson West. We'll see when these drivers finally elect to make their pit stop. Probably waiting for a caution to come out right here and throw another bunch of drivers a lap down. 29 laps remaining. Perhaps Crawford electing to run that tank as far as he can in hopes of that elusive yellow flag, which would, of course, change everything. No drivers on pit road this time by. Crawford remains out. Tanner Marr also on track, trying to stretch it just a little bit. Joshua Kanata has about 7.5 seconds over Mark Arthur behind. With 28 laps to go, Mark Arthur should have enough time to make up that gap on his newer tires as it closes down. But again, if we get a caution, it changes everything. Crawford stays out yet again. In the 74, he is going to run that tank as far as he can. He cannot make it to the finish. He cannot make it to the end without pitting. Stoney Benfield is going to have to bring it down in the 75 this time by. Brian Wortman brings it down. Caleb West in the 48 is making his final pit stop. Rob Higgs making his final pit stop, excuse me. All the while, race leaders continue to stay out on track. Crawford just biding his time, hoping for that yellow flag, as is Marr. Kanata, other side of the track right now. First driver to have made his final pit stop. He is already losing significant time to Mark Arthur. As a matter of fact, Kanata and Arthur right here. You can see Mark Arthur 7/10 gained on lap 130, 4/10 on lap 131, 7/10 on 132, 6.5 on 133. Across the line this time, we'll see when Mark Arthur crosses it, another 6.5. That's going to be enough. He's gaining half a second per lap on the 16 of Kanata. Now that will slowly start to slow down just a little bit as Crawford brings it down. Race leader Nick Crawford on pit road, as will be Tanner Marr. They stretched it as far as they could. They cannot get the caution when they need it, and that is going to cycle us around. Joshua Kanata will be our race leader next go around, and he will be hoping for a caution now between this very point in time and whenever Mark Arthur catches him. At this point, the gap is about 4 3/4 seconds. Almost half of what it was on pit exit for Mark Arthur. So, only a matter of time, unless there is a mistake to be made from the 12, which remains to be seen. Through turns 1 and 2, we watch the 16 as everyone kind of gets sorted out and settled at the moment. Kanata officially our race leader, going to lead this lap. Mark Arthur back here in second. Nick Crawford in third. Nick Crawford has 8 lap better tires than Mark Arthur, so let's not forget that Nick Crawford has put himself in a position to chase down Mark Arthur. Now, will he have enough to get to the 12? That remains to be seen, but I think they both have enough to get to the 16 before the race is done. And we are going to see quite the coming together of our top 3 before all is said and done. Much further out of the picture, running in fourth, it's Alex Fuller in the 45, who is quietly having himself a fantastic night, up 10 positions from where he started. Zachary Wake runs in P5, winner of race number 1 in the 39. He's up 10 positions from where he started. A couple of drivers benefiting from all the mayhem tonight in Phoenix. Cody Gibson got that speeding penalty. He is a lap down, running in P9. Garcia runs in 10th. As we've got a car sideways, and that is gonna be a caution. Waiting for it. There it is. Cody Gibson gets into the side of the 76 of Jackson West, and Joshua Kanata, you have your yellow flag. This changes everything. We watched that one happen live, and these pit stops might be a little more important. Real quick, let's catch a quick little replay right here if we can. Single car spin, Jackson West a little too aggressive on corner entry, loses the rear end right in front of Cody Gibson, nowhere to go. And that is enough to bring out the caution. Gabriel Ngoli gets a hit in there as well. Single car incident, and now Joshua Kanata has a free pit stop in the lead. Look at the gap to Mark Arthur in second, just based on where they were on track. No speeding penalty. Zachary Wake too fast on entry by the looks of it. Speeding penalty for the 39, or a passing under yellow. If it's passing under yellow, it gets cleared, but I will assume it is a speeding penalty based on the timing of it. Unfortunate regardless. The 16 is going to pull it in nice and easy, and Joshua Kanata is going to have the opportunity of a lifetime to control this race with less than 20 laps to go, and the track position is oh so important. Never mind. Hello, Nick Crawford. Two-tire pit stop. A bold move for the driver who started in P23. Nick Crawford has clawed his way from the depths and decides to take two tires in the end. He was on the newest tires of the race leader, so if anybody was going to get away with two tires, it's the 74. Now let's hope for his sake he can hold on to the altered handling. But Nick Crawford will be the control car with a two-tire call. Joshua Kanata runs in P2. Mark Arthur down to third. Now third is a good spot to restart. Tanner Marr with two tires. He's going to restart in P4, making up a couple of positions with that pit stop. Alex Fuller down to fifth. Zachary Wake, no speeding penalty. Looks like that was all cleared up, that confusion right there. And we will get ready to double up the field. Nick Crawford electing to take the outside on the restart. Outside for the 74, who's got two tires. The first two cars on the outside on two tires. The first two cars on the inside, four fresh Goodyears. As we get ready to restart this race, it'll be lap 143 at the line. 18 laps to go. Much of the field still getting caught up from their wave arounds, and as such it looks real thin, but we are going as the starter has the green flag in the air, and these drivers hit the restart zone for potentially the last time. Crawford in the 74 gets a fantastic launch, and across the line we go, down towards turn one. Kanata trying to defend from Arthur. That might be the race for the win. It's the race on four tires. He's going to take the outside line. Arthur on the inside as Crawford tries to run away in the race lead. All the way down the backstretch we go. Arthur's got the look right there. He gets close on entry, and Kanata gets a little sideways trying to keep that 16 planted. He does. He gets a fantastic run on corner exit. And now all the way down the front stretch, down into turn number one yet again. Can Kanata make it stick? Can he hold on to the position, ride it all the way up the track? Arthur's going to try and clear, and down the back straightaway he does. Mark Arthur up to P2, but this battle might not be over yet. Crawford trying to run away on two tires as Arthur and Kanata continue to battle. Kanata looking for it, but caution! Caution comes out, and more issues for Jackson West. That is going to be two cautions in a row related to driver 76. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened right here. He is just going to lose control and slide towards the wall right there. And that is going to be enough for the caution to come out yet again. This is going to benefit some of the drivers who are a lap down much of the field after the chaos right here. And it might just benefit Joshua Kanata as well. He's going to have an opportunity to restart in third place, which is a good spot to restart. We'll see. Mark Arthur did a good job to get around him on that restart. Tanner Marr held on with his 2 tires in P4. Crawford held on to P1 with his 2 tires. And the heat cycles are just going to equalize these tires further. What I mean by a heat cycle is when you're at racing speed, the tires get warmed up. They get real hot when you're up at racing speed, putting all that load into these Goodyear tires. And when you slow it down under caution, the tires cool off. And when they cool back down, running at these slower speeds and heat back up, that does affect the handling of the race cars. That affects the performance of the tires. It hardens them up just a little bit each time it happens. It makes the tires a little bit tougher, which makes them a little less grippier, a little more durable, but a little harder to race on depending on what you're looking for out of the handling. Stoney Benfield's on pit road, as is Brian Wortman. Rob Higgs in the 80. Couple of drivers maybe opting to get some damage fixed. None of our race leaders electing to pit, having just taken their tires for probably the final time. We are working our 4th caution of the evening. Lap 147 of 160. And I do believe we will be restarting this time by lights are out on the pace car. It's the inside for Nick Crawford this time. And it might be a big benefit to the 16 on the restart if Kanata can get a good launch. We are going to find out. As the pace truck gets ready to pull off, we are going to restart this race with 13 laps to go, somewhere in that ballpark. It is going to be a shootout, even shorter than what we thought we were getting on the last one. Nick Crawford, driver up 22 positions tonight, is going to be in control of this race on 2 tires. Mark Arthur on the outside, dominated this race so far through the restart zone. Into the restart zone we go, and what's the launch look like? It's a fantastic launch, and I tell you what, Joshua Kanata has a fantastic launch as well. He is going to take P2 and clear into turn 1. The 16 gets ahead of the 12, and that is big, as the 45 of Alex Fuller looks to work over Tanner Marr for P4 just behind, and he's going to get up the Scooby-Doo machine up a spot, but Tanner Marr fights back on the outside, and these two will continue to battle side by side, but the battle up front, it's not over yet. Mark Arthur trying to make the move around Kanata one more time. All the while, Crawford loves what he's seeing. 11 laps remain in tonight's event. Kanata gets a fantastic line through turns 1 and 2 on the outside. Mark Arthur's not going to get it that time. He's going to have to drive it in real deep on the bottom, get it woed up. That is such a deep entry for the 12. He's not going to be able to make it stick on the bottom. And with that, Kanata holds on. Crawford, he's got to make some moves as Garcia makes his way now up in around the 45, or at least up alongside him. Could the 50 car be a late threat in this race? He did just take tires on this last caution, did Samuel Garcia in the 50. Something that we are going to have to keep an eye on, electing to take about 5-lap newer tires. It's negligible, but it might be just enough for Garcia to make something work. All the while, Kanata is free of Arthur, and eyes set on race leader Nick Crawford as we work 9 laps to go down the back straightaway. This is the battle for the race win. Down into turn 1, Crawford holding on. Kanata and Arthur in pursuit. 2 tires, followed by 4 tires, trying to figure out what line they need to be in and where the move is going to happen. Arthur looking to the inside, Kanata looking to the outside, and are we going to be 3 wide? Down the front straightaway. No, it's blocked off by Crawford. Arthur to the inside of Kanata. They're going to door bang down the back straightaway. A couple of touches. Kanata gets loose on corner entry. Arthur's got to drive it in deep. Can he clear off of the corner? He's just about there, but Kanata's got the nose in there. Down into turns 1 and 2 we go. How deep do they drive it? Kanata all the way up on the wall. Mark Arthur might have to check up for Crawford. He does, but he's going to get P2 over Kanata, who might look back to the outside. Now down into turn 3 we go yet again. Here comes Garcia on newer tires in the 50. He's not ready to give up yet either. Through the dogleg we go. Crawford holds on. 6 laps remaining as Mark Arthur drives it deep into the corner. He can't quite get there. Kanata slips back into line, and Garcia on new tires. He wants a part of the action. Crawford defends low. He's going to get a bump from Arthur, and he holds on to it. Phenomenal save from Nick Crawford. Down the front straightaway we go, and into turn 3 now, looking to hold on the outside. He's on 2 tires, and he is going to have to hope that he can make it work, but Samuel Garcia in the 50 wants a shot at it. Down the back straightaway we go. The 2 for the race lead. They're door banging. Down into turn 3 we go. Neck and neck, and at the line. 4 laps to go. Crawford, Arthur, and now Garcia on the inside. Looks to maybe make it 3 wide. Arthur drives it in deep. He's going to muscle his way past the 74, who gets tagged, and somehow Crawford keeps it going. I cannot believe he kept that car straight. Garcia has to get out of it to avoid the wreck, and that allows Kanata back up into P3. Crawford has got hardly anything remaining on those 2 tires as Arthur has made the pass, and there's 3 laps remaining. Kanata now looking to the inside all the way down on the apron. He's not going to make that stick, but Garcia might fancy a 2 for right here on those new tires. He wants a shot at the race win. Down into turn 3 we go. Driver 50 on the newest tires has 1 position to go and 2 laps to do it. Down the front straightaway and into turn number 1, Mark Arthur just got to hold a good line as it is all in Samuel Garcia's court now. Driver of the 50, it is your move down the back straightaway for the penultimate time. Down into turn 3, and white flag will fly. No cautions remaining anymore. Garcia cuts the dog leg, and into turn number 1, he can see the race win ahead of him. What kind of a run are we going to get, and what will we see in turn number 3? Down the back straightaway, the 50 closes in on the 12. Does he move him? He drives it in deep, but how deep can he go? Not deep enough to the line. Mark Arthur holds on ahead of Samuel Garcia and wins it in a thriller under the lights. What a show. What a battle in the closing laps of this race from all of our top finishers. Arthur, Garcia, Crawford. I don't know what happened to Kanata. Joshua Kanata brings it home in P16. Issues for Kanata late in the race. We were caught up in the battle by the looks of it. It looks like it might have been a post-race penalty for Kanata in the 16. I'm not entirely sure if that will stick or if that is unofficial, but either way, what a race. What a battle. Wow. I think we all got to catch our breath after that one. We have all got to catch our breath after that one, I tell you what. All right. We'll give these drivers just a little bit to make their way on up here trackside and get some words from some of our top finishers. And I tell you what, I think we can start with our 3rd place finisher. That's going to be Nick Crawford in the 74. Nick, it's Arie up in the booth. Do you got me?
Yes, I do. Hello.
All right, Nick, I tell you what, we were watching your progression through the entirety of this race. You started back in P23, and you were slowly but methodically picking these guys off, making your way up one by one. You survived the chaos, and at the end, you had a fantastic opportunity to take 2 tires on what I thought was actually going to play out to be a pretty good call, and you had a shot, as did about 3 other drivers there in what was one of the best battles I've ever seen here in the Phoenix Raceway. So just walk me through your race and walk me through that final battle.
Yeah, it all started in qualifying. Was going for it, messed up lap 1, but someone said lap 2 was better, and I hit the wall outside of the exit of 4, so that invalidated that. So that's why we started way in the back, because it was based on the first lap. Race start, we were taking it easy. We're hanging out with our teammate Dakota back there, and then we were just making our way up, and I think with the pit stop, we were able to get out pretty quick and still score some stage points. I think our whole team did. And then second run, we were just saving fuel the whole time. Josh, our team crew chief, was like, we got to save some fuel. And I wanted to gain some track position first and then save. So that worked out really well with some people having to pit. And then stage 3, that was just kind of either split it in half or do something different. So I wanted to do something different. I stayed out as long as I could. I took 2 right sides only and only as much fuel as I needed. I was only out for like maybe 3 laps, and then the caution came out. So that's why I could take 2 left sides to kind of put it on an even playing field. But yeah, that last run was intense. I think if it were shorter, I could have held them off, but maybe it was a lap difference. I know the Arthur was just really fast overall the whole race, so it might have not even been the tire difference, but that was exciting. Armpits are sweaty, ready for next week.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of looking forward to next week, you are, after tonight's result, the only driver to finish in the top 5 in every one of the 3 races so far this season. You've had a fantastic start to the year, going out there, showing speed in every single race, and more importantly, getting the result in every single race. So how does that got you feeling as we get ready to head into a couple more technical tracks in Dover and Sonoma, and just, being that far up in the points as a whole?
It definitely allows me to take a little more risk on strategy, like tonight. It's a great feeling. It's been a while since I've been in a league, so it's nice to have each week count, and it shows in the point standing. But yeah, Dover. I like Dover, and I don't at the same time. But I love road course racing, so I'm hoping that I can be good. But I haven't seen how anybody else in this league races at road courses yet. So cautiously optimistic for that.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, it was a great run tonight. We're looking forward to Dover and Sonoma as well, and seeing if you can continue to put your best foot forward. I tell you what, we're going to open up the floor to you to give any shout-outs, thank yous, hays, and highs, and all of the sorts after tonight's result.
Yeah, of course. I always have to shout out my beautiful wife. She's amazing. I want to thank her for watching. She's the coolest in the world. Shout out to my friend, my illegitimate son out in Pennsylvania, Christopher Norris. He's pretty cool too. Want to shout out to my teammates, Dakota, Josh, and Sam. We all had really good finishes going. I know Josh had some technical issues right there in the last few laps. And then shout out to you for putting on the broadcast, and then shout out to the admins for doing a great job with this league. I love all the things they do, all that extra things like power rankings and graphics. They don't have to, but it does great.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. Congratulations again, Nick. Send you back down to celebrate with the team. That is our P2 finisher, which brings us to our runner-up in what could have been Samuel Garcia, our runner-up finisher tonight. Maybe one more lap. Is that all you needed?
Yes, that's exactly what I needed. Just one more lap. But no, I'm definitely excited to, happy to finish second, and I'll definitely take this for sure. Sucks I had to miss last Saturday, but it's good to come here and finish second. Thankfully, that last caution, I was able to, I saved the set, just in case, and you took advantage of that. and I was just hauling, but just trying to get up to the front the best I can, and I had to get past my two teammates, Nick and Josh, and yeah, I was right there, but fortunately we're not gonna like I said, one more lap, but I'll take it. I'll take second.
Absolutely. It was quite the charge to watch. It was a lot of fun and what could have been, but that's part of the excitement. You come out here, you put it on the podium. You finish 5 spots up from where you qualified. You're kind of setting yourself up as one of the more, I feel like from the broadcast booth, one of the more kind of quiet drivers on track, right? Like I feel like we're not seeing that 50 car out there in like the crazy flashy stuff or much of the chaos, but you're keeping your head down and you're being where you need to be at the right time. How do you feel as we get to a couple more technical tracks where that's very much so what you need to do in Dover and Sonoma?
Yeah, for sure. I just gotta keep on doing what I'm doing, just like you said, keep my head down. Going in Dover. I'm not the greatest at Dover. So it's something I need to practice this week. And then for Sonoma, I've been getting a lot of practice in for Sonoma. I would say I'm like okay at road course. I feel like I can put on some decent speed there, but yeah, just gotta keep my head down. Of course, I'm not going out there making flashy plays or anything like that. I'm not do anything crazy. I'm not always up there, but just gotta stay patient. That's all it is. To racing, just gotta stay patient. That's what I did. I stayed smart. I stay cool. Those I was a lap down for a little bit, which wasn't what I hoped for. But I guess at the end of the day, it kind of worked out because it helped me out. When all those leaders came in like 2 laps before the last, or two cautions before the last. I took a wave around, saved my set, and thankfully that caution came out, took my set. But just gotta practice for these upcoming weeks, and yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, great run tonight. Again, I'll open up the floor to you to any shout outs, hays and highs, and all of the sorts you want to give before we let you go celebrate.
Yeah, sure. I want to give a shout out to my family and friends for watching. I appreciate them. I was celebrating with them for a little bit. They were very happy for me. And I also want to do a quick little shout out to myself. Apex 50, I post sim racing content. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok. I do stream on TikTok every now and then on Twitch and on Instagram. So it's a quick little shout out to myself. And of course, shout out to my teammates, Nick, Josh, and Dakota. Unfortunately, Josh had some problems with his computer, which unfortunately he finished 16th, I believe. And everybody ran a good race. Props to Nick for finishing third there. Let's see. Thank you for putting up the broadcast. And yeah, that's everything.
All right. Congratulations again, Sam. We'll let you go celebrate with the team, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And with that, we are finally to our big race winner on the night. Won the pole, won stage 1, won stage 2, just about won everything he could. But I tell you what, at the end mark, it looked like it might not have happened with everything that happened late race with those cautions and the strategy and that 4-car battle, which was one of the best things I've ever seen at Phoenix. Just walk me through it.
So I was telling all them, I think I was going to need a defibrillator to get my heart going again. I didn't have any blood in my hands at the end of that race. I was gripping the steering wheel so hard. That's probably the hardest I've raced in a while. I mean, I don't get to race up here. I'm an old coot, right? So I don't get to race up here very often in the front. You've raced with me before, and it's just when I get to, it's I thought I'd run away with it there in the first part of the races, but that right there was pretty tough. I had to fight for that one.
I tell you what, when you get the chance, you got to take it, and that certainly happened tonight. When that caution came out, and we kind of saw it, play out where Crawford took 2 tires, he got the lead, and Kanata was able to stay out with the strategy he pulled under green. Kind of restarting third there, the leader was on the outside. Did you think at that point, like, you still had a shot in it? Did you think it was pretty much gone at that point? What was going through your mind?
So I'm not good with their names yet, so excuse me. I'll just say car numbers, right? So 74, first time that caution before, he took the outside. And then this caution, I noticed he was like, well, I'm going to take the inside. And I'm like, I had to ask Tanner and them. I said, wait a second, are they teammates? And then Cody actually looked at it and he goes, "Yep, they're teammates." I said, "Oh, now I know what's going on." So now I knew I was fighting it was a 1-on-2 at that moment. And there was a little nose cutting and things like that going on. And I knew, right? I knew what he was doing. He was trying to hold up me with the 16 had 4 tires. So trying to get him around me. And I mean, he held it strong with the 2 tires 74 did for quite a while, longer than I thought he would. And I had to fight really hard to get around him. And I actually had to give him a little bump to get around him. But I told him in the interview room, I was like, well, I knew there was some team shenanigans going on, and that's okay, right? We all do it. And I said, but then when I got into you, right, I didn't mean to, but it's like, well, if you're going to play games like that, it's going to go both ways, I guess, right? So the bump was fair and square. It didn't wreck you, just kind of a bump and run. But yeah, now I know they're teammates, and then the pink car is their teammate too. And he came out of nowhere. I thought he had me.
Yeah, he was charging on new tires. He saved a set for that actual last caution and had something and what could have been. But I tell you what, it kept the battle interesting all the way through. We now look forward to another pretty technical track in Dover in 2 weeks' time after the Thanksgiving break. So how do you feel about a track like Dover?
I'm okay at Dover. The way I run Dover, I try to stay away from that turn 2 wall, right? And if people don't do that, they might not finish the race, right? Because that's the big kicker at Dover is turn 2. So if you can stay away from turn 2 wall and get to where you can pull down and pass people out of turn 2 when they're getting tight, you're pretty good at Dover. And I've kind of figured that out a little bit. I haven't raced the Xfinity car in quite a while, so we'll see how it handles with the setup and stuff. But I don't know, should be pretty good. Flat tracks are my thing. I mean, you've raced me before, and that's usually where I excel. That's what I was telling them. I said, these are probably the only tracks I'll be good at is flat tracks like, Phoenix, New Hampshire, Milwaukee, if they race there, those types of tracks. That's where I'll excel.
Well, I tell you what, you went out there and got the first one checked off the list. It was a great run tonight. We'll open up the floor to you to any shout-outs, thank yous, hays, and highs.
I just shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast and at what's Cyber Thunder, right? Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, and Tanner and Cody, of course, and all the admins for putting on the league and giving us a place to race on Saturdays. And again, I like to thank my heart for keeping pumping through those last few races because I'm an old man, so have my heart going there at the end.
That'll do it. Well, we'll send you down to celebrate with the team. Congratulations again on the win. And with that, that is our top 3 in what was a thriller at the end of tonight's event. That is maybe the best Phoenix race I have ever gotten to have my eyes on, to have a hand in. Maybe not to call any of it. One of the best ones I've ever seen. Let's take a look at our final results. Let's get this pulled back up to the top. Final results for tonight's event. Officially, unofficially, official, something like that. Mark Arthur is your race winner in the 12 car ahead of Samuel Garcia by a 1/10 of a second in the 50. Nick Crawford brings us home on the podium in 3rd. Alex Fuller in the 45. Fantastic run. Alex tonight in 4th. Zachary Wake in 5th, bringing on that top 5 position ahead of Larry Bell in 6th. Dakota Moniz in 7th. Tanner Marr brings us home 8th ahead of Stoney Benfield and Gabriel Ngoli, rounding out the top 10. In 11th, it's Jamie Walker ahead of Ron Hollifield. Caleb West finishes in 13th. Brian Wortman in 14th. Chris Puglisi in 15th. Joshua Kanata brings us home in 16th ahead of William Bruton in 17th. Get my my button here. Joseph Klein in 18th. Rob Higgs Jr. in 19th. Rounding out the top 20, Cody Gibson with some unfortunate late race incidents. Jackson West in 21st. Nolan Mills in 22nd. Chris Lawrence brings us home in 23rd ahead of Joey Gattina in 24th. Kyle Wellman finishes 25th, and rounding out the field, Matthew Pavlik, Antonio Bannister, and Zachary Tyler. That is our field of 28 at the conclusion of tonight's event here in Phoenix. And boy, oh boy, if that was a sign of things to come here in the All-American Racing League, I am looking forward to it. Auto Club last week was a fantastic fuel mileage, fuel strategy finish. Daytona's just going to be Daytona, always exciting, and Phoenix tonight put on a show. Next week, not next week, 2 weeks from now, we've got Dover, another mile-long racetrack with some more banking on that one. That one's always a fun challenge. Next week, we will be off. There will be no race 1 week from now for the Thanksgiving weekend, and we will be right back at it the following week on the 6th of December. So for everyone here at the Cyber Thunder Broadcasting Network, thank you so much for coming out to support your drivers watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe and get notified whenever we go live in the future. We will see you in 2 weeks' time.